Okay, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to today's conversation with my guest today, Lejla Tutić. Welcome, Lejla. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, and salam alaikum to everyone.
Wa alaikum assalam. I'm very, very excited to have Lejla with us here today. We've been trying to set this up for quite a couple of weeks now, so I'm very excited. Before we begin, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone who's watching? Just a little
Well,
bit about Lejla in any way you would
yeah,
like.
thank you, Meysara. Well, my name is Lejla Tutić. I am a professor of religious pedagogy, and I'm also Gestalt psychotherapist under supervision. I'm a third year of my education for Gestalt psychotherapy. I'm also author of two books, Traveler and Life with Purpose, and I'm also a wife and a mom of two boys, Hamza and Ali, which is I'm so proud of those
Um,
titles. So yeah.
Mashallah. Thank you very much. I think the first and only time we've actually met in person is you were delivering a talk on Surah Duha, I think, but you went through the surah through a psychological kind of lens. And I was really
Yeah.
fascinated at just the bringing together of the Quranic science, but also psychology. And then the reason that we're here today with our topic sweets is because I noticed that you started sharing publicly about your journey with insulin resistance, right? And so I
Yeah.
thought, this is something interesting because I too, and I think many of friends as well, especially as we're getting a little bit older, start having these kind of health issues when it relates to our love of sweets, perhaps. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, inshallah.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this topic. I started to talk more openly about issues with insulin resistance exactly because I noticed a lot of people struggling with the same issue. And there's a common misconception about the insulin resistance that something that is only causing insulin resistance is sweets. But that is a common misconception. There's a lot of different factors that
Mhm.
contributes to insulin resistance. Can I just say for on the beginning, Meysara, that
Yeah.
I've never formally studied English language. I'm a self-taught English student. So if I do mix up some words or say something in a wrong way, just roll with it. And I hope you will
Uh,
have understanding, you and your listeners.
No, thank you so much. Your English is beautiful and it's a delight to listen to. But I'm grateful that you're willing to go out of your comfort zone and share your knowledge and your experience with our English speakers as well, mashallah. Because mainly, yeah, I've been following you in Bosnian, and it's also a way, by the way, that I've been practicing my Bosnian because I'm not a native Bosnian speaker, right? So I think this
We
interchange
understand each
language
other.
is nice, inshallah. Yeah. Before we begin officially, I also want to mention that obviously both of us here are not medical doctors, so we're not talking about this from the perspective of a doctor, right? So of course, for anything like that, there are professionals that you can go to, but this is more just kind of like our personal experience that we're sharing,
Yeah.
inshallah. And so I thought maybe to begin with, you could just help share like what is insulin resistance exactly.
Well, as you mentioned, we are not doctors here, and but for my personal knowledge and my personal journey, I can say that insulin resistance is when the body cells become less sensitive or less responsive to insulin,
Okay.
leading to higher blood sugar levels. And over time, this can increase the risk of type 2 diabetes and other health issues.
Hmm.
But I can say what insulin resistance is for me personally, how
Yeah.
it felt in my
Yeah.
body to be
Mm,
insulin
mm,
resistant. And that is that, for example, if I get hungry, Meysara, and if
mm,
I don't take in food for like in 20 minutes or half
mm,
an hour, then I start really to shake. My body starts
mm,
shaking. I sweat a lot. Then I got a headache. And my blood pressure really becomes so low that, I feel really, really bad in my body.
mm,
And if I do eat something, the symptoms would stop.
mhm.
But after maybe 2 hours, again, I want to take something. I want to take some sweets. I have cravings or something
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
So I could never regulate my hunger in a proper way. And I always thought that is something, I have a low blood pressure or something like that. I never even realized that it's really a symptom of insulin resistance. So
Mm,
for me, insulin resistance is like this, the feeling in the body and the state of which my body gets into when I feel those symptoms of insulin resistance. So insulin resistance for me is that
feeling.
physical symptoms. You can feel it.
Mhm. Is that feeling what prompted you to like visit a doctor, or like how did you discover that you had insulin resistance? Like,
No, actually, I had this for a really long time. And when I got my first child 9 years ago, it's even got worse. And I started to gain weight, and I couldn't lose the weight no matter what I did. And actually, no one ever told me just go and take a test and see is it
We've cut out just a second. Let me just see where Lejla has gone. We cut out a little bit. We missed just the
yeah,
last bit. Yeah.
yeah. So when I got 2 years ago, when I started my Gestalt psychotherapy education, there's one colleague of mine. She's a doctor. She's a psychiatrist.
Mm,
And then she noticed these symptoms that I explained on the beginning.
mm,
And she told me, Lejla, maybe you should take a test for insulin, because everything I see as a symptoms when you get hungry and the way you
mm,
eat and everything that you consume, it really shows me that there is something wrong with insulin. And I
mm,
didn't listen to her for 2 years. I
mm,
didn't do that step. And now I realize why not. Because,
mm.
insulin resistance, as with everything, every other health issues that we have in life, it's
Yeah.
not just about the body, about the physical
Mm,
approach. You have to also approach your mental issues, your
yes.
emotional issues, your spiritual issues. So I realized during my training and my individual psychotherapy sessions with my therapist, I realized that I have a lot of trauma as a background, because I grew up during the war in Bosnia. There was a lot of traumatic events that I went through. So I had to release and process all of
Mm,
those things on mental level, then on
yes.
emotional level, to
Yeah.
regulate somehow my nervous system. And then there's a step that I took, physical approach to solving this problem. And then I went to the doctor, and it was really the tests show that I really have a insulin resistance. So
Wow.
it's a process. It's a bit of a journey that you have
Yes.
to go through. So the advice when people gave you, like you say to people, I cannot lose weight. Oh my God, whatever I do, nothing works. So
Mm,
people usually tell you, oh, just take out the sweets, or I'm not sure, go for a walk, eat less. Those advice do not work, because
yeah.
if you do those things, then your body really go in a worst state possible. You don't
Mm.
feel good.
Yeah, I love two things that you shared. The first thing was about how, the doctor was the one that, like your friend, like your colleague was the one that suggested this. And it was almost like a missing piece, right, in your
Yeah.
whole situation. And I've experienced this as well, where I have my own issues, mental health issues. And there's pieces of the puzzle where, for example, I didn't realize that I'd have been having panic attacks for many, many years. But because in my case, I wasn't looking at it from like a mental health, physical perspective, I was analyzing it emotionally or spiritually and wondering what's happening to me, until someone one day actually was on the phone with me while I was having one of these attacks. And then when it was all over, and alhamdulillah, she was there with me, she said, "Oh, that really sounded like a panic attack." And I was like,
Mm,
"Oh," and it's really interesting because I've studied this. I mean, I also am a student of psychology, and you learn these things theoretically, but when
yeah.
you're experiencing it, you don't often have the whole picture, right? And so it's really interesting how sometimes, subhanAllah, like until we're ready, that last puzzle piece comes in to help us, right? But
Yes.
yeah, and the second thing that you said about how everything's connected, it's never just the physical, it's the emotional, it's the mental, it's the spiritual. We're
Exactly.
holistic beings, right? And I think I was thinking the exact same thing as you were talking of, like the amount of times, people will give advice about losing weight, or any particular health issues, sometimes putting on weight, or we have a lot of these kind of body health related issues as women, I think. And we're very generous, and I think we all mean well in kind of like wanting to, this worked for me, so like let me like,
Yeah.
we mean well and things like that, but we have to really appreciate that each of us are individuals and we all have our own unique health journeys, and that's for the physical as well as the emotional.
Yes.
So yeah,
And I
thank you.
like the way you said it. There's a segment of holistic approach
Mm,
to your being.
mm,
So everything is a one system. Your mental, your emotional, your physical, your spiritual being, everything is a one system. And
mm.
it's unique to every one of us.
Yes.
So advice for someone, to give someone advice the way you would approach it, the way you would feel it, the way you would do it,
Yeah.
it's not really useful
Yeah.
because, yeah, we are uniquely, I'm not sure how to use the word. Uh,
Design, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
uniquely designed. And every approach should be uniquely designed for us, for our body, for our mental health, for our emotional health. Not
Yes.
every advice, one advice is not equal for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to say it. If I say it
No,
wrong,
it's
Mason,
perfect.
please do forgive
It's
me.
perfect. And that's why one of the reasons that I was really looking forward to this conversation with you is because I've also been to the doctor and I can see that my sugar is now high, for example, but I haven't gone yet to that step of actually seeing a specialist or like exploring, like, okay, what could this be and things like that. And the reason why we're having these conversations once again for people watching is like everyone should take responsibility for their own health and go to doctors
Yeah,
and things like that. But it's helpful to hear perspective and experiences of others. And especially when you talk about the role of trauma, I think, and how this not interferes, but interacts with our physical health issues. I think this is something that we're not talking about enough because sometimes we might have issues where we're putting on weight or we're feeling tired all the time, and we might just put it down to, well, it's iron deficiency or it's vitamin D or it's this supplements, but sometimes we can be doing all the things or we can be trying to, and it's really tempting nowadays. Like there's lots of books, there's YouTube videos, Instagram, TikTok videos, like there's so much advice out there and it can get really overwhelming sometimes.
yeah.
And especially if we're dealing with trauma, and I think maybe you can talk a little bit about this. This also puts us into some sort of like, what do I do with all this information, right? So,
Yeah, but there's a problem with all of us today because
mm,
we take information, we just follow the information. Give me more information about this, about that, but
mm,
we never really process those information in a right way. For example, just sit with yourself and
mm,
ask yourself, what do I need now? What my body really needs? What my body really craves right now?
mm,
What do I need on emotional level? What
mm,
kind of a support do I need?
yeah,
Um, uh, what are my needs uh, for my mental health, for my emotional health, for my spiritual health? So we take a lot of information, but we never actually process those information. We never filter them out. What
mm,
is useful for me? What is actually beneficial for me? And you know, if my therapist explains this in a beautiful way. So she says about the information. If someone give you a plate full
mm,
of a lot of different things, you have a choice to
mm,
take from that plate only what you think is beneficial for you. You don't have to take everything in.
wow.
So this is an amazing approach, and it was really helpful for me also to
Mm,
understand that some informations that are out there are really not beneficial for me, and I don't have to take them to
yeah.
make myself feel better. I
Mm,
can filter everything from the outside world, from the virtual world, and all those advices, and just filter those information and take only what I need right now. So in this today's how you say that u ovom je društvu i vremenu.
in this time and age.
In this time and age, it's really hard for us to just slow down, take time, and see how you feel, what you really need, what are your authentic needs right now,
Yeah.
and then find a way, a healthy way to fulfill those needs.
Mm,
Because we just go from one side to another, asking for advice, asking for information, give me more, I want to know,
mm,
but you have to integrate those informations that you get
mm, mm,
um, to really feel better. And just for your listeners, insulin resistance, it's really a hard problem to deal with. It's
mm,
really not easy because you have to change your lifestyle completely. You have to change the way you view the food,
mm,
how you take the food. You learn about what healthy food and healthy nutrition really means.
mm,
You have to build some new habits, for example, exercising much more, But insulin resistance can be managed
Mm,
effectively with
mm,
the right knowledge, with the right tools. And there's a one segment that you mentioned, the expert opinion.
yeah,
The expert opinion is the most important one,
yeah.
because before this, Meysara, before I got really right diagnoses and
Mm,
I started working with right experts,
mhm.
I used to hire a lot of nutritionists that gave me like instant results, but not how you say dugotrajni
Yeah,
rezultati,
it's sustainable,
long-term
long
results.
term. Yep.
Yeah. Then I joined different kinds of workout groups and everything, but those things did not give me real results. Uh, the real results came when I went to real experts, doctors,
Mm,
how you say that, endocrinologists,
yeah.
dietitians, nutritionists, but who also have a degree, like they are doctor.
Yes.
And Dr. Sofia Softic-Namaz, she's a doctor and nutritionist. She really helped me a lot because when I got my diagnosis, Meysara, I really developed this fear from food. So
Mm,
I took everything out right away.
mm,
And for a month and a half, I was pretty miserable. I was hungry all the time and I was really unhappy. I didn't find any satisfaction in
yeah.
food anymore. And I went to my therapist and she told me, Lejla, healthy approach to food and everything else, it's really important, but also to enjoy in food and try varieties of food. It's
Yes.
also important part of life. So when I sat down with Dr. Sofia, the nutritionist, she told me, first of all, you don't have to have a fear from food. I'm going to teach you how to manage the food correctly.
Mm,
What does it mean to take a healthy approach to food? And that helped me a lot because then you realize you can eat also sweets, but healthy sweets, and how to prepare those sweets. And you can really enjoy the food,
mm,
not suffer in a way.
mm,
So that approach really helped me to manage my insulin resistant journey. And then I started losing weight in a healthy way,
mm,
and then my mental state completely changed.
mm,
I sleep a lot better. I manage stress
mm.
a lot better. I find myself really different person, but in a more healthy and positive way.
Yeah, it's amazing how these kind of things can affect how we're showing up in the world, right? Like they're not, it's not just a side thing or something that we're dealing with, like it
Yeah,
affects our entire being.
yeah,
SubhanAllah. What I'm hearing, like with what you said, the last point about the fear of food that you developed, and
yeah,
then what Dr. Sophia was offering you, it's like the role of education, right? Because I guess if we don't understand something, we don't know what to do with it, and how important it is to be educated, to
exactly,
learn about anything that we're dealing with, right? I wanted to
exactly.
step back a little bit because you mentioned about like sitting with yourself and asking yourself, what do I need? And I felt very seen throughout the entire description that you gave of like the advice seeking and like ask people and research, because I'm very much like that. And I remember that, for years hearing this advice of like, okay, sit with yourself and breathe and ask yourself, what do I need in this moment and things like that. But it can be really, really difficult to do if you have not
Yeah.
developed this, and it's a skill. And so maybe I was wondering if you could talk about like how can we develop this for people that maybe it's too difficult to do to the point that we just don't do it.
I didn't do it before. I went to my education for Gestalt psychotherapy, and I really done a lot of work
Mm,
um, on my individual therapy sessions,
yeah.
because to be able to sit with yourself and look at yourself and look at
Mm,
your needs, you
yeah.
really have to take those layers of maybe trauma or something you went through that maybe gave you a signal that it's not safe when I am sitting with myself, when everything around me it's quiet, and I just want to ask myself, what do I need? Because many people, especially here in Bosnia, we grew up without ever asking ourselves, what do we need? We always manage other people's needs.
Mm,
In our family, we are always focused on what everybody else needs from me,
yes.
and that makes a difficult task to do when you have that habit of just always scanning your environment and asking yourself, how can I be more helpful to everyone else? How can I
Yeah.
be more you know, there for everyone else. So the first time you sit with yourself and you ask yourself that question can be really scary,
Mm.
because then, this is something new, this is something scary, because your brain goes, oh, what is going on now? What
Yeah.
is this question? It's like unknown territory.
Yeah.
But if you give yourself a chance
Mm.
and you sit with yourself long enough, you
Mm.
know, just continue to try to ask yourself. Maybe in the beginning it will not be that, deep, and you will feel like, oh my god, what is going on here. Maybe it will be just, oh, I don't want to do this. Okay,
Yeah.
then you get up and you go by your day. But then
Yeah.
again, when the moment comes, when you feel like you
Mm.
are in a lot of stress, you feel like, you are exhausted, you are
Mm.
drained, then again sit with yourself. Okay, what's going on right now? What do I need right now? Maybe I just need to take some rest. Maybe I just need to go for a walk. Maybe, and just make that first step. And
Mm.
then it will become a habit that
Yeah.
you can sit with yourself. But if there's a lot of trauma behind it, if there's a lot of different kinds of issue behind it, then I always say ask for professional help.
Yes.
Sit with someone who
Yeah.
can help you, um, to, navigate, and to come to that place one
Yeah.
day where you can really sit with yourself
Yeah.
without fear, just cherishing yourself.
Yeah.
The way, someone, who is dear to you, your
Mm.
friend, for example, is in
Yes.
trouble
Yes.
or is under a lot of stress. What would you say to that person? You will
Yeah.
not say, oh, just manage it as you know it. No,
Yeah.
you will say, okay, take it easy. I am here. You are not alone. How can I be there for you? How can I help you?
Yeah.
That's the approach that we have to have towards ourselves also.
Yeah.
When I'm under a lot of stress, then I ask myself, okay, how can I help you? What is going on here? How
Mm.
can I be there for you? I'm asking myself those questions. How can I be more supportive to you, Lejla, right now? What
Mm.
do you need right now, Lejla? And then I ask, my family, my kids, okay, please just leave mommy alone for a couple of seconds. I need some time for me. And they will understand that. They will say,
Yeah.
okay, no problem. When I feel overwhelmed, I can ask my husband, okay, can you take care of some of the things in the house right now, or can you buy a lunch? I don't want to prepare anything now.
Yeah.
Uh, and we have that understanding. But
Yeah.
your relationship with yourself
Yes.
starts, inside, starts from your, how you manage yourself,
Yes.
how you approach to yourself. Is it the correct way to
Yeah.
say it, Lisa?
How you approach yourself. Yeah.
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 It's a slow process.
Mm.
Usually when it comes to mental health
Mm.
or anything else, we usually want instant results.
Yes.
I want to sit one day with me and everything should be solved. Or if we go to therapy, we usually expect from therapists to solve everything in a couple of sessions. And I'm a
Yeah.
new person, everything is good. That's why we like motivation. That's
Yes.
why we like people who just motivate us.
Yes.
Oh, you can do it, you can do it. No, sometimes it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need more time for myself. Sometimes it's a slow process. It's
Yeah.
not really easy to navigate through everything, your experiences, your nervous system, your, um, obstacles that are on the way, that
Yes.
are in front of you, um, to
Yeah.
just be able to sit in peace.
Yeah.
To sit in peace with yourself, it's a process. No one has ever, came and sat and everything, went really, really good. No, it's a process. It's
Yeah.
dealing with your, how you say that, vulnerability.
Vulnerability. Yep.
Yeah, it's not easy. It takes a lot of courage to be
Yeah.
oh my God, this is a hard sentence for
Vulnerable.
me. Yeah,
Vulnerable.
this is a hard word for me to pronounce.
Mashallah.
So yeah, it takes a lot of courage, and not everyone is prepared to do that right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
So just give yourself time.
Thank you so much for this, because even when you said, the questions like, how can I help? Like talking to yourself, how can I help you? How can I be there for you? I really
Yeah.
felt emotional, because I think this is something that, we haven't really, for many of us, we haven't grown up learning how to
Yeah.
do. And
Mhm.
this thing that you said about having a relationship with ourselves. And I think part of taking the relationship with ourselves seriously is taking our holistic health seriously, which is why we again go to the experts. And in the field of psychology, this is why, like you're studying Gestalt psychotherapy, for example, there's many beautiful models, right? Like I personally incline to expressive arts, there's somatics, there's EMDR, there's all these beautiful modalities. But I really believe, and through my experience, because I kind of I tried a little bit of everything, is that for me, the biggest key in it is like co-regulation. Like I've just needed someone to be there for me throughout that process of
Yeah.
sitting with myself or going through a particular wound or issue, right? And so I really want to encourage people who are listening, like, don't think that you must have this like huge necessary, trauma or event that only certain people go to psychotherapists or counselors or psychologists. Like, I mean, all of us might be needing support at any given time. And there's a reason why we have these professionals, and it's a blessing that we have them, alhamdulillah, people like
Yeah.
yourself. So yeah.
Alhamdulillah. And you made a good point. Psychotherapy is not just for the people who went through different kinds of traumatic events in their life. Um, Psychotherapy can be really helpful in, for example, achieving your goals in
Mm,
life or just to feel supported.
yeah,
Because a lot of us miss real support in life.
yeah.
To be really seen, to be really heard, maybe
Mm,
for the first time to get validation from
yeah,
your therapist,
yes,
to say someone to say to you, this is really difficult, I really feel that, I am sad because you go through that
yeah.
experience or something like that. It's really, really, how you say that, широко поле, to
A
explore
wide, yeah, it's a
a
wide,
wide field, yeah, variations of different kinds of topics that you can come to your therapist. It doesn't have to be only a trauma or traumatic
yes,
events that brings you
yes.
to therapy.
Bringing us back to insulin resistance, I wonder if you could talk about, for example, let's say someone like myself has an inkling that, okay, maybe this is something that I might be dealing with. I know that I need to go to the specialist, so I'm going to book in a doctor and things like that. And maybe I start getting the prescriptions or the advice about like what I need to do. But I was wondering if you could talk about the mental barriers or the blocks that we might have, because sometimes, as you said, like even just hearing you describe like the overhaul of all the lifestyle habits, of the nutrition, of the movement, of the this, of the that,
Yeah.
it sounds like a lot. And I know for me, I think that has put me in a state of paralysis for many years of really taking a little bit more proactivity in like some of my health issues because it just feels like too much. So I was wondering if you could talk about the psychology behind like when we have to make these big changes in our life.
Yeah, you are exactly right. If we take a lot instantly, then it's really become like a burden to us.
Mm,
So what was a crucial thing for me is to not feel guilty when I don't do a good job that
mm,
day. If
mm.
I do something that is not according to everything that my doctor said I should do, or if I miss training for that day or something like that.
Yeah.
We usually use we guilt ourselves. We tell ourselves, oh, look what you did, now you are not a good, how you say that, good student of
Yes.
this whole approach.
Yes.
But first thing is to take a slow steps, to
Okay.
see how much you can take right now.
Mm,
So for example, I will take exercise, for example. I don't like exercising. I
mm,
never enjoy exercising.
yeah.
But what I made a compromise with myself is that I said I like walking. I
Yeah.
really enjoy walking.
Mm,
So I made my whole routine about exercising because exercising is really important part of insulin resistance, overcoming insulin resistance. I just said I can walk for like 45 minutes,
yeah.
easy walk. If I cannot go outside, I can do it in my house on
Yeah.
a treadmill,
Yes.
and just walk for 45 minutes, listening to some good podcast, and just enjoy that walk.
Yes.
Um, so you basically take everything that you need to do, but you, how you say that, you break those things in a small, achievable steps,
Yes.
and you also ask yourself what is enjoyable in this. For
Mm,
example, if I take food, okay, there's some things I don't like to eat, but there's some things I really enjoy to eat.
mm,
And it's healthy, it's okay, it doesn't spike my blood level, sugar levels. And you ask yourself, what can I manage right now
mm,
that is enjoyable, but also beneficial. And no
Yeah.
one can give you answer to that. That is the answer you can give it only to yourself, because you know yourself the best.
Yes.
Um, there's a thing about people thinking about how to change their habits, change their lifestyles. And usually it ends up, I want to take everything all the way, and I always have to be super motivated to do something. That
Yeah.
is not actually true. Sometimes
Mm,
I'm really not motivated to do anything, but
yeah.
I do it anyway. Why? Because I have this picture that I put inside my head, this vision that I put inside my head.
Mm,
Okay, if I do this now, what is the reward I am
mm,
getting?
yeah.
Um, we usually, when we think about reward and punishment, we usually cling towards punishment. Even
Yeah.
if we talk about Islam, for example, we usually talk about punishment, punishment to get that motivation. No,
Mhm.
well, I like rewards.
Yes.
So I ask myself, what is the reward? I don't
Mm,
feel like I'm going to do it, but what is the reward at the end? Okay, I'm going to lose a couple of more pounds. I'm going to feel better. I
mm,
can run without, feeling exhausted all the time. I will have more energy. So those
yes.
kinds of things I think about in a way. What is the reward at the end of this road?
Mm,
Um, so don't guilt trip yourself
okay.
when you fail,
Mm-hmm.
because we will all fail. I
Yeah.
don't do everything perfectly. No one does.
Mm,
And second thing, don't self-sabotage yourself into trying to feel motivated every day to do everything. You will
yeah.
not feel like it. Most of the time, you will not feel like it. But I love Mel Robbins when she says, just count to five. Okay,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm gonna do it. And then you just jump on it. You
Yes.
just do it. It's something that you have to do. For example, you have to eat every day, because if you don't eat, your body will not feel benefits of energy that you get to when you
Yes.
intake the food. So um, I will have much more benefits if I
Mm,
just push myself a little bit more every day, a little bit more every day. I don't have to feel like it. I
yeah.
just have to do it sometimes.
Yes.
And we don't want to do it because we don't like to be, oh my god, Meisara, how you say neugodi, neugodno, ne volimo se osjećati neugodno.
Uncomfortable. Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. We don't like to be uncomfortable. No,
Yeah.
no one likes to be uncomfortable.
Mm,
But every life experience that I
mm,
went through, and that was uncomfortable,
yeah.
I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I came at the end of that experience much more stronger, much more wiser, much more
Yes.
mature.
Yes.
So not everything is life in life is going to feel good. you
Mm,
you are not going to feel motivated to do something that is really beneficial for you.
mm,
But if you just go through it, discipline yourself.
yeah.
Discipline is the main part.
Mm,
You don't feel like it, you don't feel motivated, but you are disciplined enough that, okay, I will go through this.
yes.
And then you will see the benefits, because when you start losing weight, when you
Mm,
can finally wear the clothes that it fits you, it
yes.
doesn't feel like it's overwhelming you.
Yes.
Then you see, oh, this is good, and then you
Mm,
sleep better, you feel better, you show up to the world like this really stronger and healthier version of yourself, and you feel
mm,
proud of yourself. Look, the
yes.
the road that I took, it was really difficult. It takes a lot of effort from my side, but I
Mm,
managed it through. Look, I'm so proud of myself. Alhamdulillah. Allah
yes.
helped me. Allah made me strong.
Yes.
And Allah gave me those skills,
Mm,
those values, those, how you say that? Um, those resources
yes.
inside of me, and
Mhm.
now I just now put them in action, and I
Yes.
use them, and alhamdulillah, I got through. So you will not always feel ready to do something, motivated to do something, but discipline is the key. Then you
Yes.
just do it
Yeah.
and find yourself a reward at the end of the that
Mm,
road. Just ask yourself, what is the best reward I can get after
yes.
I go through this? Because reward yourself. Don't
Yes.
just say, oh, okay, I will do that and don't feel any pleasure. No, I want to reward myself. For
Yes.
example, for this podcast with you, I knew it's going to be really a big step out of my comfort zone
Mm-hmm.
because of my English language barrier.
Yeah.
Um, and I always refuse to work with people who ask me, invite me to do the live with them or to do the podcast with them just because of this. And
Mm,
then when you ask me, I said to myself, this will no longer be the obstacle to reach out
mm,
to the world.
yes.
And I told myself, I know English enough
Yes.
so I can manage through this conversation. And that is the discipline.
Mm,
Okay, I don't feel motivated really. I am a little bit anxious and scared, and it's not easy,
thank you.
but I can manage this. I know
Yes.
I can manage this,
Mhm.
alhamdulillah. So
Yeah.
that is the approach that I have to everything in life. And
Mm,
alhamdulillah, sometimes I fail, sometimes I succeed. But
yes.
when I fail, I don't beat myself up down or,
Yes.
tell myself, oh, you are a bad person or something like that. No, it's just another information to
Yeah.
step back a little bit, just to, assess the situation and start again, start
Yes.
over.
Yeah.
But we have, I think, this mentality where we beat ourselves up
Yes.
every time we do something that is bad, that is wrong, that is, not in accordance with our values. We
Yes.
always beat ourselves up, even
Yeah.
in our approach to faith,
Yes.
to our religion, towards Allah. If
Yes.
we do something bad, for example, if we commit some sin, we
Mm,
say, oh, this is it. I am a bad person. Allah hates me now. Everything is bad. No, it's not. It
mm,
you done something, now you repeat and try it
yes.
again. Don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
Never give up on yourself. Allah never gives up on you. No
Mm,
matter what you go through, He
mm,
always give you a second chance.
yeah.
Because I have this mental approach
Mm,
towards also a faith.
mm-hmm.
If I wake up this morning,
Mm,
I realize that is another chance Allah gave me to live
yeah.
this day, to do
Yes.
my best, and to
Yes.
make mistakes. I
Yes.
will make mistakes because we are all human
Mm,
beings. So
yeah.
don't beat yourself up. Just
Mm,
take care of yourself. You
mm,
are equally important like every other human being on this planet. You are also important. You are valuable. You
yeah.
have something to give to the world. You
Yeah.
have some kind of a gift, some kind of a talent that Allah gave you. And
Yeah.
you can fight it through. You know, you can go through those times of difficulty, and at the end of the road you can be a winner. You can cross that winning line. It's
MashaAllah.
possible for everyone, inshallah.
Thank you. You've said so many really important things like about self-compassion and about discipline. And I love this balance between like the idea of, on the one hand, discipline, and we have to sometimes do things that we might not enjoy, but at the
Yeah.
same time, reward yourself and enjoy, right? And so
Yeah.
one of the things that I've been doing recently, people have noticed on my Instagram, is I share a lot of food pictures and just, enjoying life, right? And one of the reasons I do this is because I'm away from my children now, who, if they're watching, hello, children. But it's been really hard being away from them, subhanAllah. And so
Mhm.
but it's a necessary step that I've had to do for health reasons, for profession, etc. And so part of my struggle in that is also using enjoyment. And I think joy is something that we don't, I think, as Muslims, utilize enough as a tool, that actually Islam
Yeah.
is a joyful faith. And even within these habit forming things, like we can make our exercise joyful, right? Or we can make our, nutrition, that even if we have to be limited or we have to be careful of what we eat, but we should still enjoy what we're, and
Definitely.
with gratitude, right?
Yeah.
And things like this.
Joy is the essential part of life.
Yeah.
Uh, as Muslims, we usually approach everything in life with like, I have to be disciplined, I have to be serious, I have to be
Mm,
committed. Okay, that is really important. But
mm,
uh, for example, Salah, you
mm,
also have to find joy in Salah, not only a discipline in Salah. You have to find
mm,
joy in Salah. You have to
yeah.
find joy in worshiping. As also, you have to find joy in food, in life, in relationships that you are building
Mm,
in your life. Joy is essential part. If you don't have
mm,
joy, then what do you have? You
mm,
know, uh, discipline and joy and happiness and disappointment, everything is a part of life. But you
yes.
have to balance with all those things.
Yes.
Um, joy is really important even with the food, Maysara. I love your pictures, by the way, your photographs that you put on Instagram and on Facebook. I really enjoy them because it's always intriguing. What kind of a food is this?
Yes.
What this? Yeah, it's really amazing. I love it.
Mm,
Um, but the food was not only how you say that, the purpose of food is not only to feed you,
yeah.
to give your body energy, but also to enjoy the food. You know,
Yeah.
Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also enjoyed the food. He
Mm,
didn't only consume it, oh, whatever, I can eat whatever. No, there's
yeah.
a type of food that he really enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
joy is the essential part of life, and we should utilize it more and more.
Mashallah. I'm loving so much the I didn't expect that a conversation about insulin resistance was going to lead to so many
Me
different
neither.
topics, mashallah, but I love it so much. And we will have to end soon just out of interest of time. But I wanted to bring it back because something you started with was the idea that it's a misconception that insulin resistance is just about sweets. And so I thought if we could mention a little bit about that and then maybe just some like closing remarks of whatever you'd like to share on the topic and everything we've talked about today.
Sure. The problem with that misconception is that people usually think, oh, I just need to get rid of the carbohydrates,
Mhm.
sweets, and everything will be fine. No.
Mm,
Carbohydrates are also an important part of our nutrition,
okay.
but there's a how you say that? I'm sorry. You should consider taking the food that has low glycemic
Index.
index.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these food release sugar
Mm-hmm.
uh, into the bloodstream, preventing those spikes. So every food that slow down the digestion and absorption of carbohydrates, it's a
Mm-hmm.
good for you.
Yes.
So I always, when someone asks me how do you know, combine your foods, there's
Mm,
always three steps. Your
mm,
plate should be consistent. Is it a
mm-hmm.
good word?
Mm.
Of three types of food. You should have it
Consist
on your
it
plate
should
every day.
consist
I'm
of.
sorry if I use the
No
wrong
problem,
word.
no problem.
That is protein, healthy fats, and then
Yep.
fiber. So
Okay.
you should combine, for example, on your plate for lunch, for example,
Mm-hmm.
it should be like grilled chicken, for example, avocado,
Mm-hmm.
and side of non-starchy vegetables.
Okay.
Okay. But also, if you want to include like something sweet,
Mm-hmm.
then it should be like, um, oh my God, how can I say that? For example, dates
Yeah.
with some nuts,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but I think it's yogurt,
Yeah.
plain yogurt,
Yeah.
and a little bit of cinnamon. So
Yeah.
that could be an apple for you can add apple, for example, and you
Mm-hmm.
can take that in. So basically, you just have to realize what kinds of food combinations you should have on your plate,
Okay.
and how should your meals be should look like throughout the day. For
Yes.
example, I have a breakfast in the morning, then I have something sweet after 2 3 hours,
Okay.
um, and then I have my lunch after maybe 3 hours, and then I have my dinner,
Okay.
and that's the meal plan during the day. And when I follow this order
Yes.
of how to take the food in, then I don't have a problem. But if I
Mm,
mess up this order, then I have
mm,
again a problem. So
mm,
it's simple. Not all carbohydrates are bad for you. You just have
mm,
to know how to combine which food with which food. What are the healthy versions of sweets that you
mm.
can take? And of course, you should manage the količina. How you say količina?
Quantity.
Quantity. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Mashallah.
that's the formula. It's
Yeah.
nothing like it's nothing magical,
Yes.
Maysara, or something,
Mm,
you know, oh my God, this is something new. No, it's just combination of right kinds of food,
okay.
um, the timetable, how many times a day do you take a meal, what kind of
Yeah.
meals, and also include sweets, but healthy versions of sweets. For example, today on my meal plan, four sweets are two dates with some peanut butter inside.
Oh,
And that
nice.
is it. And it's really healthy. It's really enjoyable to
Yes,
eat. It really satisfies your need for those sweets, but
yes,
you don't overdo it.
yes,
And you don't have to take, for example, I don't know, piece of cake to feel satisfied. No, I don't
yeah,
even crave cake
yes.
anymore.
Mm,
But every month I have something to reward myself. For
okay.
example,
Mm,
um, I will take something like a cheeseburger. I really like cheeseburger.
okay.
So every month I can reward myself one time in a month to take a cheeseburger for lunch, for example.
Mm,
So always have that mind on something that you can reward yourself for that effort that you are putting in.
yeah.
This is all a
Mashallah.
bit difficult. I hope, Maysara, your listeners will understand what I said.
No, everything that you say is more than understandable. Allah bless you for going through the discomfort of getting out of your comfort zone, because really it's not a problem at all to listen to. And I totally understand, like the looking for a word, but you've got it all, mashallah, not to worry at
Thank you so
all.
much.
Alhamdulillah. Well, thank you so, so much for being with me today here. I've learned so much. I've taken a few pages of notes, and there's quite a few things that I've learned that I'll be able to take back into my life. And I hope it's been beneficial for those watching. Do share, I know that you have a podcast of your own, and if there's anything else that people can follow you or.
Thank you so much, Maysara. I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. This was really joyful and really useful. And it was really an honor to be your guest. And I thank you for being there for me through my getting out of my comfort zone, because this was really difficult for me. But thank you so much on your patience, on your help with some words.
Alhamdulillah.
And I hope your listeners will understand everything that I have shared and I said, and I hope they will find it beneficial. I have a podcast also and my YouTube channel, Život sa svrhom, Life with Purpose. It's in Bosnian, but inshallah, I have some suggestions to make it more content also in English language.
Allah.
Inshallah, I will think about those
After
suggestions.
that.
Yeah. I also have a Facebook account, Instagram account, TikTok account under my name, Lejla Tutić. So everyone interested can follow those accounts and get more information about something that I share.
Thank you so much. And are you taking clients currently yet, or
Yes, I'm taking
like a
clients,
therapist?
but because I just started with my psychotherapy practice, Gestalt psychotherapy practice under supervision, I don't take so much clients at once. And yeah, but everyone interested can contact me if they want.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank
Alhamdulillah.
you so much, Maysara. This is really amazing,
Yeah,
and
no, it's my
it was
honor
a
really
really
to know
pleasure.
you. And I look forward to seeing you when I get back to Bosnia, inshallah. And
Inshallah.
yeah, thank you so much once again. I hope you have a good rest of your day
You
and take
too.
care. Okay, so